Hey everyone, and welcome back to our amazing adventure through time. I'm Alex, and this is Mia. Today, we're jumping into one of the most incredible stories ever. Imagine being on a tiny boat in the middle of a huge stormy lake at night. The wind is howling, and giant waves are crashing all around you. Scary, right? Well, that's exactly where Jesus' friends, the disciples, found themselves. They were terrified, rowing with all their might, but getting nowhere. Suddenly, in the dark, they saw something unbelievable. A figure, walking on top of the stormy water, was coming towards them. They thought it was a ghost and screamed in fear. But a calm, familiar voice cut through the wind. "Take courage. It is I, don't be afraid." It was Jesus. The disciples were stunned. Walking on water? How was that even possible? One of them, Peter, always ready for action, called out, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." And Jesus simply said, "Come." Can you imagine that moment? Jesus just said, "Come." He didn't say, "Okay, but be careful," or "Are you sure?" He just invited Peter to do the impossible. So Peter, filled with a surge of faith, swung his legs over the side of the boat. He took a deep breath, kept his eyes locked on Jesus, and placed his foot onto the churning water. And it held him. He took another step, and another. He was actually walking on water, just like Jesus. It was a miracle. He was doing something no one had ever done before, all because he trusted Jesus. For a few moments, Peter felt like he was on top of the world. He was walking on waves, moving toward Jesus, his heart pounding with excitement and awe. But then he made a small mistake. He took his eyes off Jesus. Just for a second, he looked down at the huge dark waves swirling around his feet. He felt the strong wind pushing against him. And in that instant, fear rushed in and replaced his faith. He suddenly remembered how impossible this all was. And as doubt filled his mind, he began to sink. The water, which had been like solid ground just a moment ago, now felt like it was pulling him under. "Lord, save me," he cried out in panic. Immediately, without a moment's hesitation, Jesus reached out his hand and caught Peter. He pulled him up from the water and held him steady. As they stood there together on the waves, Jesus looked at him kindly and said, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" He wasn't angry, but he was showing Peter a powerful lesson. The moment Peter's focus shifted from Jesus to the storm, his faith wavered, and he began to sink. As Jesus and Peter climbed back into the boat, the wind instantly died down, and the lake became completely calm. The other disciples, who had watched the whole thing in utter amazement, fell to their knees. They finally understood. They said, "Truly you are the Son of God." They had just witnessed a level of power they had never imagined. Wow, what an incredible story. When Peter kept his eyes on Jesus, he could do the impossible. He walked on water. But when he looked at the scary things around him, the wind and the waves, his fear took over, and he started to sink. This story shows us something so important. In our lives, we all face storms. Maybe it's a tough test at school, a problem with a friend, or just feeling scared or worried. Those are our wind and waves. If we focus only on the problems, we can feel like we're sinking, just like Peter. But if we keep our eyes on Jesus, trusting that he is with us and he is more powerful than any storm, we can have the faith to walk right over our fears. We can do things that seem impossible. And the best part? Even if we do get scared and start to sink, just like Peter did, Jesus is always right there. He's always reaching out his hand to save us. All we have to do is call out to him. He will never let us go. He wants us to trust him completely, to have faith that can overcome any fear. So remember, faith in Jesus helps us rise above the things that scare us. And no matter what, his hand is always there to catch you. That gives us so much hope and a reason to trust him every single day. Thanks so much for joining us on this incredible journey. We can't wait to see you next time for another adventure. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on what happens next. Bye for now.